Colson Montgomery and Kyle Teel have embodied the spirit of the Warrior, brother, and they have embarked over the South Side. And these two are going to lead the White Sox to a bright and beautiful Warrior future.
Sorry. There'll be no more Ultimate Warrior impressions here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Welcome into the CHGO White Sox post-game show presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. New customers, when you bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets, whether your $5 bet wins or loses. I am your host, Sean Anderson, coming to you live from Studio B in our West Loop offices here in Chicago. My producer is Joey Christopoulos.
Was a little scared. Now I'm feeling okay. That cold open, I didn't know what came over you.
Hopefully just the warrior spirit, brother. I'm still red in the face from trying to do that.
Audio only. Go to YouTube.
No, honestly, I hope no one sees it. We have 4 people watching according to the live counter, 1 like, and no comments saying, what the hell is that cold open?
Jump in the chat and bear witness that you saw that.
Nobody has watched that cold open. We are coming to you live after a White Sox loss 5-4 against the Tampa Rays. And typically, when we're coming to you after a loss, it's a deflating feeling. It's a sad feeling. But because we've now declared that the White Sox aren't even fun bad anymore, they're just fun. I don't care if you're not having fun with this team. I don't think you're a White Sox fan. Let's just be honest. This team isn't good, and you don't have to like a good team. You could just like a team. They're the White Sox. That's why I like them. And there's just a ton from this game that I'd rather think about than the result on September 9th, 2025. And I think that's been one of my issues mainly this season is I keep looking towards 2026 before 2025 is over. And I think that's why I keep, when I bring up Andrew Benintendi, it's not about his 2025 play. It's just about him not being here in 2026 and 2027. Shout out to Ron Davis, who brought this up. He turned it off at the point, I think, on Sunday when I brought up Lenine and just how, Lenine, 20th homer, 68th player in White Sox history to reach 20 homers. But I just don't see him for the future. And I keep bringing up, the reasons why his profile will likely fail. Just let people enjoy the moment. And honestly, right now, I got nothing to say besides I love Colson Montgomery. I love Kyle Teel. Edgar Caro's doing his best. He didn't have a highlight today per se. And even Chase Mydroth had a highlight. Him and Brooks Baldwin tag team for a run today. This team has been fun. Without a doubt, post All-Star break, this has been a fun baseball team to be watching. And if you haven't, because the White Sox hurt you so badly in prior years, I don't blame you. But if you haven't tuned into a game in 2025 and yet you're still kind of like watching and maybe peering from the outside through the window, and the whole Sox Machine slogan is, we watch so you don't have to, you should watch. If you haven't watched, you should watch a game. Maybe watch it with the away broadcast on, or maybe listen to the radio. But I really think that this team has something cooking. I think Dan Plezak's a little off his rocker when he tells Chuck Garfien that they're a sleeping giant. That seems a little intense. That seems like Dan just got here and doesn't have the trauma that we do. But I do think that this is something you can get attached to, right? We're dealing with the Bears right now in Chicago. People are really just attacking Caleb Williams because they lost. The narrative would be so much different if they won that damn game. If Santos makes that kick, and if, X, Y, or Z doesn't happen and they win that game, Bears fans would be dying at the feet of Caleb Williams. I kind of forgot where I was going there.
Well, I was going to ask with Dan Plezak, can we just start with sleeping medium-sized man? Does it have to be the Giant? Can it just be a medium-sized 86-win medium-sized man?
Can we just get back? Yeah, right. We're trying to get to 500. Can it be a sleeping 500
sleeping
team?
73-win preteen adolescent?
But I think you could see at least the rabidness and the want for something to be good. And I think people are looking at the White Sox record and saying, it doesn't matter what Colson Montgomery is doing, they're a bad baseball team. And I do think that Dan Plesac is right, and I think you're right, Joey, to also chime in. Maybe not a sleeping giant, but this is a baseball team that could do something. Maybe not next year in 2026, but I do think that in 2027, it will be a worthwhile season to fully invest in. I have watched every single game since 2022 at this point. I used to, watch here or there like most baseball fans. But now because it's my job, I've watched every single game since 2022. I do implore you that if you have maybe watched here or there, or maybe even very sparser than that, to maybe watch a couple of the home games that are still left. Because this is a nucleus that I think you'll see for a while. I think these are characters that you can get attached to, right? They're not going to kill off Mark Brandanowitz after 2 seasons of Parks and Rec, right? You'll be able to attach yourself to the Leslie Knope that is Colson Montgomery.
We were watching that series for the first time, and we were literally asking ourselves, what is Brandanowitz? What is he doing? And he finally just left the show. And now it's becoming the show that everyone knows and recognizes.
In the words of Hawk Harrelson, he gone.
Grab some bench.
Grab some bench, Brandanowitz. Anyways, I'm really liking this team. Akira Wells says it's cool that I expect them to come back and win, and I'm disappointed when they don't. I agree 100% with you, Akira. And I'm not even that disappointed that they didn't, because they kind of did. They tied up the game at 4-4, and I'm not going to get upset that Tyler Alexander lost this game. I saw somebody say in our mentions that Tyler Alexander is now unplayable. Tyler Alexander has gone to 4 other teams, and they have found very quickly that he's unplayable. The White Sox just need anybody that has a pulse, anybody that has a body temperature over 98, or maybe not over, but at 98.6 or in the area, right? I mean, Chuck Garfien, even though it was like a 50-foot throw,
not making the team.
Brian Ramos was in front of the plate. He's in the ballpark. He works for the White Sox, technically. If Tyler Alexander goes down, their best option might be Chuck Garfien. It's like 15 games left. We're not reached the Tyler Alexander is unplayable part. He's pitched for this team for 4 months. That's kind of the downside of this team is they're going to lose baseball games. I kind of want them to lose baseball games in 2025. They have, with this loss, padded their lead for the number 1 pick, or at least the highest percentage for the number 1 pick. And that is what this is all about. I don't think there's any doubt that Will Venable, who got ejected for his 3rd time this game, is the guy. I love Will Venable. He's likely looking at a 20-ish win improvement from this team. He was talked about as a manager in the waiting, a manager to be the next big thing. I haven't seen anything to doubt that. I don't think managers are that important in baseball. I think you need to be a cool guy that players can relate to. You know who Will Venable is? A cool guy that players can relate to. Perfect. They got the guy. And I like the way that Chris Getz is going about this. I think that that's kind of the idea. Like Grady Sizemore, Marcus Timms, Ethan Katz, Josh Barfield, Brian Bannister. They've gone after former players that these players can relate to. That if they need to have a conversation, Sergio Santos and Charlotte, they can relate to these players. I think that they are building something. At the end of the day, will it be a Lego set that's destroyed by a kid trampling it over? Maybe. Will it be a sleeping giant? Andre the Giant, sleeping giant? I don't know. But I think it's worthwhile attaching yourself. And I'm not saying this as somebody that hosts this White Sox postgame show. I'm talking to 13 people. If you're watching, I think you're already watching. But I think that this plan from Chris Getz is an actual plan with a thought process. And when you see Colson Montgomery and Andrew Benintendi in the 6th inning attacking first pitch fastballs, What has this team been doing since the All-Star break?
Fastball.
Attacking the fastball. What have they been doing since the All-Star break?
Hitting fastball.
Hitting the baseball, hitting home runs, winning baseball games. They're near 500. They're close enough to 500 for me to call them 500. I think they're 4 games under post All-Star break. Like, they have a plan in place. They're executing the plan. The prior plan from Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams was get as many good ball players and let's see what they can do. And that's I guess, Kenny Williams impersonation. I didn't know I had that. I apologize, Kenny.
Incredible.
It was terrible. But there was never a baseball thought. It was just kind of throwing stuff at a wall. And it worked in 2005.
And look,
That was cool.
Even if some of these guys maybe struggle in the next 14, 15 games, I think the proof is already in the pudding of what they've accomplished this season, not who they're going to be as professionals years down the road. But I think a lot of these guys have already made their mark on their first major league season. Guys like Kyle Teel, Colson Montgomery, Chase Mydroth, Edgar Carroll, Shane Smith. We talk about all these guys all the time. And I'm being a terrible producer right now because this might have been a good segment, but maybe over the next 15 games for White Sox fans, we could come up with some rules or maybe some hopes and some dreams of what we want out of the next 15 games. Because for me, one of them is score runs. 2 of them is just let the pitching walk out of the season healthy.
Right.
And then 3, give yourself the best shot to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, and with the healthy thing, too, is that's a hard pill to swallow because now the White Sox have announced that Noah Schultz will likely just miss the entire year. James Fegan, I believe, had that report that his knee is not going to let him pitch in Charlotte and in the AFL, which is, really a bad taste in the mouth. But if that is the biggest kind of takeaway or, biggest negative from the White Sox season, oh, well. I don't know. Well, JTH78's comment is
It's like Jith 78.
78 is where I kind of want to end this segment at. He says at some point they need to sign some big free agents to add to the young core. I do agree with you. I wouldn't get your hopes up necessarily because 2026 and 2027 aren't great free agent classes. There is Kyle Tucker, but let's be real. Jerry Reinsdorf is still the owner, and even though the Ishbias will be in the building next year, helping them pay off debts, they're not helping with a Kyle Tucker-sized debt. So I'm fine with them picking up the option, but I had this discussion with Jake Flanagan, our general manager today, kind of setting up the offseason. And I think that if I believe in the plan, and Chris Getz can successfully present his plan to Jerry Reinsdorf, does Jerry believe in Chris Getz and his plan? And did he see enough from this season to spend? Now, I'll put an asterisk on that spend because I don't think it's Kyle Tucker spend. But I think that if we see the White Sox commit $30 million to $40 million to free agents this offseason, I think that that's a sign that either Jerry Reinsdorf has bought in or he pretty much has no choice. He's all in. He's got 7 more years to own a baseball team. So we are either seeing a change in Jerry Reinsdorf, either because he believes in Chris Getz, he's having a Mike Ilitch moment, or a little bit of column A, column B, or we see typical Jerry, where if they are going to be down the Tampa and Milwaukee kind of area, we won't see them be aggressive in free agents. And I think that this is a real offseason where they can gain trust back from the fans. If they go out and just help the young core tread water, and that's 30 to 40 million, I think that would be a really great sign for the future of this franchise. Maybe I'm wrong, but if they're able to sign a first baseman, they're able to maybe bring back Martin Perez and then another free agent arm, Adrian Hauser. If they're able to find likely a third baseman or a DH, if they buy out Benintendi, I think that this 2026 team could look very interesting, mainly because of the young core. But if Jerry Reinsdorf can get belief from the ownership, I think that then is obviously just a great sign for 2027 and beyond. We have to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments section. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. It is now football season, football. And with Bet365's early payout offer, you're a winner if your college or NFL team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Use code CHGO365. New customers, when you bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. And it's a ton of fun betting on Bet365 during the NFL season. They have offers on Thursday night, Sunday night. I used their Monday night 50% super profit boost token on the same game parlay. I came one leg short, but hey, we were close to getting it under 54.5. I really liked playing that one, and it was a nice sweat during Monday night. New customers get $300 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose, using code CHGO365. Deposit 10 and place a bet of $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral service can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at RC Cola. I am a very, very avid zero sugar pop drinker. And I had never had the RC Zero Sugar before they became on as an advert, right? I just never saw it in the stores, was never able to pick it up. Now that I've had it, I need to tell you folks that it is truly a game changer. I didn't know that RC Zero Sugar was this good. I didn't know it was this much better than other colas. I find it to be a very, very interesting cola, a very, very rich and flavorful cola. I think cinnamon. I have no idea. It's a wonderful, wonderful taste. I recommend you checking out our friends over at RC. RC is an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow-ups. They haven't changed their stripes since 1905 because they haven't had to. Do yourself a favor. Grab some RC at a local store. RC is the move for whatever you're doing. Hey, look. No jokes, no gaffes. I'm actually drinking my RC Zero Sugar right
Magic.
now. I really like it.
That was
I really do like it.
They're all no joke ad reads, but that was straight from the heart.
I mean, I just have sampled it so much.
We have a lot here.
It's really good.
We have a lot at our Bears tailgate too, as well.
Oh, look
for
at
the RC
you.
Cola enthusiasts.
Yeah. And we appreciate everyone hanging out with us in the chat, whether it's Ryan, whether it is Jithith 78 or Goop. And what we know about Goop, Joey,
Revenge of the Jith,
is he likes soup. Goop does like soup. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. As we roll on with this White Sox season, we'll be here during the off season, as well as we are getting closer and closer to the end of the year. White Sox sit at 55 and 90 on the year. So they have to win. Oh boy. Here's math. They have to win 8 games to avoid 100.
They got 17 left.
17 left. So if they go 7-10, that's 100 losses, and that's, pretty good record. So, I mean, if they're able to go 7-10, I'm fine with that.
It's doable. It's doable.
It's doable. It's doable, and I think that, again, I only care about the number one pick, and it's mainly about the vibes. Like, I can look at that number and, obviously see, 100 losses are bad. I think there was a stat, though, that the only teams that have lost 100 straight games in Major League Baseball, 3 straight years in a row, have won a World Series. And I think it's the Nationals, and I think it's the Astros. I could be wrong, so please correct me if I am wrong on that. Someone also did it. Justin corrected me about saying that Tyler O'Neill was not a free agent. I keep bringing his name up in free agency, so if that is wrong as well, my apologies. I've been using the same what's it called? Article from MLB.com, and I think it's from March, so I must have just be out. The reason they do have him listed, though, is there's an opt-out available. So the player option is Tyler O'Neill's. He can opt out after this year. If not, it'll be 2 years, $33 million until the end of 2027. So I guess that's why they're including O'Neill. I should, though, include that he has an opt-out. So it's no guarantee that Tyler O'Neill would be on the free agent market, but he could be if he does choose to opt out. So no guarantee there.
I'm going to take a wild guess that he's been hurt sporadically this year and could be more of a opt-in situation.
Did you guess that?
Oh, I'm totally guessing that because that's just the MO of his career.
He's played 43 games.
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
When you see it, you're like, oh my God, like what has he got? Like 12 home runs and 40 home games? I'm guessing, but 12 home runs and 43 games.
8 homers and 43?
Yeah, I mean, If you extrapolate that out over 162, you're like, man, this guy on our team would be cool. But he's big, he's strong, and he might be a little bit too strong to play Major League Baseball on a daily basis. And he's just always hurt.
You know what's kind of funny about Tyler O'Neill? I mean, Tyler O'Neill is jacked. That dude is like massive forearms. But I honestly think that he's got a little Colson in him. You look at Tyler O'Neill's numbers, and he's got 3 years with over a 500 slugging percentage. And then all the other years are like not even like close to 450. They're all below like 420. So he's either like the greatest player ever or unplayable. He's had a 1.2 WAR season, a 6.4 WAR season, and a 2.6 WAR season. And then everything else is completely under 1. So, like, he's an interesting player, and I think you're right. He'll likely opt in because, hey, 2 years for $33 million isn't a bad gig. But if he's out there, I wouldn't hate the White Sox going after Tyler O'Neill. But, yeah, I think he'll likely opt in. You're right there, as he has only played 43 games. Let's go to Tom Jankowski's question in a second. Then we'll get to Kyle Teel and Colson Montgomery comparisons. I have some fun stats that I found for Colson. We'll get into those right after Tom's question. Is there a possible lockout in 2027 due to the union/owners and the owners wanting a salary cap? Yes. The players do not want that, so the Sox probably won't spend a lot. I don't know if that's exactly fair. I think that we'll see. Honestly, I don't know what's going to play out with the lockout. And again, if one of Jerry's motivations is, seeing the end of his ownership come to fruition, that could motivate him to spend. And if people aren't spending, maybe that leaves market, what's inequalities, and he can get a player for cheap. So I agree, Tom, that there might not be spending, but I think that could benefit the Sox because I don't see MLB ever adopting a salary cap, and I don't see them striking an entire year. I could be wrong, but we saw in 2023 that it got close to spring training, but they're not going to, I think, close out the year. Maybe there will be a lockout, but I think that there will be a pretty dramatic offseason that does not lead to a full cancellation. Maybe a delayed season, but they're still playing 120 games. Any thoughts? I don't know. You're a baseball guy. So
look, it's complicated, and it's tough to figure out where each side is sitting on this. Just per Tom's question, and by the way, Inigo Montoya's in his profile, so shout out to that. That's very cool with the whole phrase on a card. I have a hard time believing that owners are going to willingly. Now, Jerry might be a separate case, might be an outlier of this one, but I have a hard time believing that owners are not going to spend this winter because they're afraid that the year after that they're going to go into a lockout and then institute a salary cap. If anything, I would think that some of the dollars that you're spending this winter might be a little bit of a going while the going gets good. And some of this stuff might get grandfathered in, where maybe all of a sudden some of that money isn't punitive, and maybe I don't know if they're trying to adjust what the luxury tax looks like. So maybe you can get that extra $6 or $7 million back by paying a player this winter when a couple years later it is not punitive for you. My thing also is that salary cap aside, I think what they're going to try and do is try and put some sort of restrictions and caps on honestly kicking the can down the road with the money, with what the Dodgers have done, and try and create some sort of thing, or maybe some sort of internal sharing revenue where these Dodgers can't continue to get like all this money off of their cable and just keep paying Shohei Ohtani $1 million and other players $1 million a year for the next 65, 66 years. Because it's a weird credit card bill that honestly, it kind of flies against the face of just the equal market competition of every other franchise.
Well, in a way, it's funny how unequal the two New York teams are, and then the California teams are, because even Artie Moreno isn't afraid of spending money, right? Like, I mean, that guy's signed Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols, CJ Wilson. You name it. He signed pretty much every big free agent. He's still doing it. Like random guys, like Kikuchi, giving him $55 million. And they're like, why are the Angels giving him that money? There is a fair inequity between the coasts, and even you see it with the White Sox and Cubs for some reason, just like the lack of ability or want to spend from these owners. And I think that you kind of need to balance out New York and California, because I think everyone else is fine. Like, it seems like everything else works okay, but yeah, like,
they're making crazy amounts of money.
Shohei. Yeah.
They're making crazy amounts of money. And you can also make the case, a team like Toronto handing out $500 million to Vlad is kind of something that maybe brings hope to some smaller market franchises. So there's inequities, but all of a sudden that the revenue sharing, though, is still pretty good money for all of these owners right now. So I can understand that they're trying to cap a growing market because they see what's happening in the NFL. They see what's happening in the NBA, where the NBA is going to have a $100 million a year player within the next 10 years. Football probably will have a quarterback. They'll be pretty damn close. I don't think Major League Baseball wants to get even near that. But at the same time, while you have this growth, you have to worry about teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates raising a floor. You have to worry about the New York Mets not spending $330 million on one team in 1 year.
A's,
another situation. And also with a lot of these owners that want new stadiums and stuff, they have to be willing to put money back into the product on the field. The A's is the great point because they want to move to Las Vegas. So let's sign Luis Severino for a little bit of money right now and show that we're actually semi-serious of putting a competitive product out there. I mean, it's billionaires making billions of dollars. And I'm always going to be players first, but there's a little something out of whack there, and they're going to fight over it. It's going to be something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bite my tongue. Did you see that 40 of the richest top people grew their portfolio by like 40% or something, and unemployment's now reached 10%.
But we're going to have two
rich get richer.
We're going to have two bloody tongues here in a second.
Anyways,
but let's punish the fan.
Let's get back to the White
Let's
Sox.
punish the fan and let's raise ticket prices.
Yeah, let's lock out a season so we don't get any fun in our lives. Woohoo! Anyways, let's get to the White Sox. In the bottom of the first, Kyle Teel hit his home run, solo homer. Scraped right over the center fielder. That's his 7th on the year. We'll talk about Kyle Teel and possible comparisons later on in the show. Yoendrys Gomez was the starter for the White Sox. He had an iffy day. He gave up 4 runs, but was able to give him 5 innings, which is important for the White Sox. And then as I brought up, the White Sox were able to come back. In the 5th inning, you get a triple from Brooks Baldwin, and then who comes up? Chase Mydroth slapping a single and driving him in. That made it 4-2 Rays, and then in the bottom of the 6th, Hauser did start that inning. Teel got popped out to shortstop to start off the inning, and then Sosa singled to center. Then they brought in Mason Montgomery, a lefty against Colson Montgomery. Mason Montgomery, in his career against left-handers, a 171 batting average, 281 on-base percentage, and a 263 slugging. This guy is a lefty specialist, and again, what did Colson Montgomery, and then later, Andrew Benintendi, lefty as well, do to Mason Montgomery? Attack the first pitch fastball. I understand you want people to be patient, but you also might not get a strike better than that. And I think for Colson, he was right to jump on that fastball. He hits a double, scores Lenine, 4-3. Carroll then strikes out swinging, but Benny, with 2 outs, then singled, scoring Montgomery as Montgomery was able to advance to third on a wild pitch, making it easier for Benny to drive him in 4-4 and the 6th. And then Tyler Alexander comes in. He strikes out Christopher Morel, and then Tristan Gray comes up. Before we talk about Tristan Gray, Adrian Hauser, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 9 Ks. 9 times Adrian Hauser struck out a White Sox. And it's fair to say Adrian Hauser revenge game, but it's tired. That's a tired narrative. What does he even have to get revenge for? They signed him.
We paid him money. Yeah, we brought him back from the dead.
Sent him to a team that has a near 500 record. There's the 50 Cent video. F me, why are you saying F me for? What did I do? Tristan Gray, however, who hits the 7th inning home run, the game-winning home run, you can kind of see his side. He's been toiling in Charlotte. He's been better than Jake Amaya, and he never got the call up to the White Sox. I think maybe he briefly got a call up to the White Sox, but he never got a shot. Joshua Palacios gets his shot. Dominic Fletcher gets his shot. Tim Elko gets his shot. Corey Lee's back. Where's Tristan Gray's shot? Tristan Gray is getting it with the Tampa Bay Rays, and he hits his 3rd homer of the year, and that is the game-winning homer of the day. We'll talk about Colson Montgomery and Kyle Teel comparisons in just a sec. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We'll be back after this break to talk comparisons for Colson and Teel. We want to let you know about our friends over at Monarch Money. Finances can be messy and confusing. Monarch Money helps. They act like your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control so you could stop earning and start growing. It's more than your averaging budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and goals. So don't just manage your money like I was. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for our listeners. We want to let you know mainly about Monarch Money because financial stress is one of the top reasons relationships fall apart. Money is getting tighter now in America, and Monarch Money makes money conversations easier. Example, I was spending way too much money through a fast food drive-thru, and my wife was like, where is all our money going through? Now that we've signed up with Monarch Money, we could track, share our individual accounts, we could set goals together, and keep money check-ins drama-free, which, hey, that's made my life a lot easier. Get control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code CHGO at Monarch Money in your first year for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code CHGO. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ownwell. Another big thing in my life is not hearing my mom talk about property taxes anymore. For 20 years, I've heard that woman talk about the property taxes on her townhouse, but no longer. Overpaying for property taxes is something far too many Cook County residents are doing, and you don't have to be one of them. Be like my mom. Sign up with Ownwell. In Cook County, appeal windows vary by township, close up rapidly, and are very difficult to win. Let Ownwell's experts ensure you're prepared for when it counts. You could sign up in under 3 minutes, and their team of local experts and cutting-edge technology could start saving you money with no upfront costs. And the thing that my mom enjoyed was obviously the savings. An average savings of $1,102 is not bad, but 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction, and Ownwell has a 25% contingent fee, meaning you only pay if your property taxes are reduced. Go check out this fantastic site, ownwell.com/cook. You could save money on your Cook County property taxes and sign up in less than 3 minutes at ownwell.com/cook. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Phil Donahue has joined us. Former political commentator has joined us. Joey.
Can I do the voice?
I don't know the voice. You could do the voice. I thought Phil Donahue was dead.
All right, let me tell you something. I think we need a lockout. Coming up next on Phil Donahue.
That just sounded like Joey.
Did it? Do I sound like Phil Donahue?
Maybe Phil Donahue just sounds like Joey.
Oh, man.
Anyways.
That's my childhood.
Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox post-game show. Sox lose 5-4 against the Rays, but we don't care. The White Sox have the highest odds to get the number one pick in the 2026 draft. Hopefully the largest bonus pool in that draft. And Colson Montgomery hit another RBI double. Kyle Teel hit a homer. RC Colas all around, folks. Let's talk about some comparisons. Because the first comparison that you were given for Colson Montgomery was Corey Seager. I made the joke after the RBI double that Colson Montgomery could have been Bo Nix. He had like 1,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards as the quarterback for his Indiana high school. He could have been Jordan Poole, a 6'4" shooting guard in the NBA, just chucking up threes and having fun, probably on a bad team. Or he could have been Corey Seager, and he chose to be Corey Seager. Let's take you through the first 53 games of Corey Seager's career, because I'm just interested in, how he does compare to Colson Montgomery for reflection, and this doesn't include the double tonight. Colson Montgomery, through his first 53 games, 212 plate appearances, 44 hits, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 18 homers, 46 RBIs, 17 walks, 59 strikeouts, a .230 average, a .299 on-base percentage, and a .550 slugging percentage, an OPS of .848. Corey Seager, 224 plate appearances, so nearly, 12 more than Colson. I don't know why. Probably just because the Los Angeles Dodgers were a better team than the White Sox were in 2026. 58 hits. Colson has 44. Seager was at 58. 36 of those 58 hits were singles for Corey Seager. He had 14 doubles, 2 triples, and only 6 homers. So Colson has 12 more homers than Corey Seager did through 53 games. He had 1 less triple, and then he had 9 less doubles, but then Colson in his 54th game hits his 6th double of the day. The biggest discrepancy in where these players, really depart is in the walk and contact department. Colson, again, with a batting average of .230, respectable in 2025. Corey Seager, .291. Not in the same ballpark. And then you look at the walks to strikeouts. Corey Seager, 23 walks to 35 strikeouts. Colson, 17 walks to 59 strikeouts. They're different players. and that's fine. I think you see a extremely gifted athlete, and you're just trying to compare them to another extremely gifted athlete. And I think what we are learning about Colson Montgomery through the first 54 games of his career is he might not be a Corey Seager, but whether it was basketball, baseball, or football, this athlete would have been successful. This kid is showing you elite athletic skills that are absolutely the possible cornerstone of a franchise. It is very rare, not even very rare, it's extremely rare. It's, before this, impossible to see a shortstop with this power. Colson Montgomery is the first homer through his first 53 games to hit over 16 homers at the shortstop position. We had that stat for you on Sunday. It was Colson at 18 through 53 games. Trevor Story through 53 games, I think, had 15. Carlos Correa had 14. And then Fernando Tatis had 12. Those are the only shortstops through the first 53 games of their career to have over 15 or over 10 homers.
And just quick aside on that, I remember all of those, and those were all national stories. Like Trevor Story, I mean, maybe this was back when ESPN and SportsCenter meant a little bit something more, but all those guys were making national headlines at the time, and that's what Colson Montgomery is doing. Maybe he's not getting the national pub that those guys did because maybe it's just a little bit of a different time, but all those dudes were dubbed sensations for doing what they did.
Yeah, and the one thing that I want to point out is while the contact rate looks poor, while you see the 230 average compared to Seager's 291, what I want to point out is what Colson does very well. What he does well is swing a bat extremely fast. A fast swing in Major League Baseball is over 75 miles per hour of bat speed. Colson Montgomery has 33.7% of his swings be a fast bat speed, so over 75 miles per hour. 33.7% of the time he's swinging his bat over 75 miles per hour. He is one of, I guess 11, I missed Wallner. He is one of 11 players in Major League Baseball to average or to have a fast swing rate over 30%. John Kenzie Noel, Giancarlo Stanton, Junior Caminero, Jordan Walker, Joe Adell, Jack Caglianone, Riley Adams, Colson, Julio Rodriguez, Christopher Morel, and Matt Wallner. And the one thing that Colson Montgomery does, similar to Julio Rodriguez, Christopher Morel, Joe Adell, Caminero, and Stanton, is all of those players on fast swings have a batting average over 300. And Colson is, in a smaller sample size, Colson is the only player with a slugging percentage on those swings over 8. Giancarlo Stanton's slug percentage is 702. Colson Montgomery's is 839. Matt Wallner's is 719. J-Rod's is 601. Colson's is 839. And here's the other thing. Colson, whiff rate on 85 on swing rates on swing speeds over 75%, a 28.8% whiff rate. J-Rod's is 28%. Morel's is 35.3%. Stanton's 36.3%. Being under 30 is extremely, extremely elite. You can look at the numbers for yourself right there. Colson is at least making contact when it matters. When he wants to swing, when he is being aggressive and swinging a fast bat, which is 1/3 of the time, he's got a 304 average, an 839 slug. This is why the kid's got a 2.5 WAR, because he's hitting the hell out of the baseball and he's playing above average shortstop. Like, I mean, this is like if Joey Gallo played shortstop, but honestly, you look at that whiff rate number, he might be better. Like, it's not Corey Seager, because Corey Seager is a very, very elite hitter, like a beyond elite. Like, he will be the Ted Williams to somebody 50 years from now. He is an incredible, incredible hitter. Colson's not that, but he's his own monster. I think that if I had to compare him to somebody, he's like if a first baseman played shortstop. I thought the swing is maybe, and maybe this is Teel, so I'm confusing it a little bit, but it was like, it's a little Matt Olson-y. Maybe it's because they're both lefties, but just the way that they're both so tall in the box and the way that they come through the zone, maybe Teel more than Colson, but it feels Matt Olson-y. And I'm just happy to see two Matt Olson-ish hitters on the White Sox. Two guys that are just going out there, and every single time they swing, they are swinging out of their shoes trying to hit the hell out of the ball. Not even necessarily like hit a home run per se. Works a lot for Colson. But just try to lock in, see a fastball, hit a fastball. And Colson had a terrible at bat later on in the game. I think it was the 8th inning against Useta and just got blown away by his changeups. But like, oh well. You know, baseball players, a 1 for 4 is a good night. I'll take the 1 for 4 with an RBI.
What I like about Kyle Teel is he's definitely that cliche of he will not be cheated. And he has so much of this jittery energy, and he's so expressive. And I say emotional in a positive, complimentary way. And he takes all of that and kind of bottles it up and takes it into the box with him, where he's really interesting to watch, where he's as like, maybe not as finicky, but he is as active a guy in and out of the box as I've seen in a long time. Like, he's got like that Nomar kind of like, I got a lot going on. My bat's tapping my shoe. I'm making a face. I'm wiping my face with my sleeve here. I'm back in the box. I'm active. I'm moving. I'm bouncing. I'm on my feet. And then honestly, once he gets in the box, he's completely under control. And that's what's been kind of fun to watch about him, is he has this like exuberance and he has this youthfulness to him. But also he's a catcher. Also, he's been hitting the ball hard. He's hitting over 290 right now. Hit his 7th home run tonight. So there's some control with some of maybe that youthful chaos that's honestly kind of fun to see. And he seems a little bit like he seems older beyond his years, other than his face, because he looks incredibly young.
He does look incredibly
He's an incredibly young looking man.
No, he's got a ton of energy. He's a ball of energy, and you're right. He's able to really confine it for the at bat, and then once that bat is swung and the ball's in play, he just lets it all out. So no, that's a really good call by you. I don't know who he compares to though. Like he's really unique.
This is a really old one.
Like hothead. He's like just a kind of a yelling moron. Like respectfully. I mean that
no,
in the most loving sense possible.
These are all
he's
like
a maniac.
These are all hardcore compliments that I think could be possibly a really important ingredient on a winning team, of a guy who is that spark plug, or the guy who maybe is the battery to that engine. He reminds me of just
you can't tell Kyle Teel he's on a slump. Is what I feel. You know, right? Like he gets on the board and he'll be just excited as his first hit.
Oh yeah, no, and he'll do some sort of weird facial expression if he doesn't throw a guy out at second base.
Not like maybe like kind of Josh Naylor-ish. I don't think he's gonna be like taking his helmet and bashing it into his skull like Naylor was, but I do think that just like Naylor was always the energy guy. Yeah. And I think that in 2027 or whatever, Kyle Teel will be the energy guy for the White Sox.
Well, what's refreshing about his energy, honestly, and truly, I mean it deeply, refreshing, is that he is more likely to use his emotion to smile on the field than he is to slam his helmet on the ground. Now, granted, we haven't seen him go through tough times in a couple of years, and sure, you ground into a double play in a tough moment, bases loaded, 1 out, you can't get the RBI. Maybe you do slam your helmet down or whatever that may be, but it seems like that when he gets really emotional, it seems like it's kind of on the more positive side. You see him smile a lot more. One player, just really quick, his activeness in the box reminds me a little bit of this. No one's going to get this, but BJ Surhoff, the old Milwaukee Brewer, Baltimore Oriole. I don't know. He's just got a little bit of that. The way that his bat waggles and the way that he loads up a little bit. I don't know if the finish is the same, but he kind of reminds me of that just a little bit.
I like it. It's a real sicko comparison.
I had to think like really deep in my mind, and then I looked it up on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I'm actually not that far off.
Okay, yeah. Way to go, BJ Surhoff, Oriole legend, right? Yeah, hell yeah. All right, very cool. I'm trying to look up something real quick because I think that Colson's in a very other interesting group, and it's the barrel per batted ball percentage. So that's on fast swings again, on 75 mile per hour bat speeds. The leader in barrel per batted ball event is Aaron Judge. Weirdly, second is Joshua Palacios. Third is Devers, and Judge and Palacios are the only ones over 31%. Devers is around 29.8%. Ohtani's fourth on this list at 28.4%. Jazz Chisholm Jr., 27.5%. Seager, 27.1%. Soto, 26.9%. This is all to say, I think that there's there's a pretty decent amount. There's not many with over a 20% batted ball per or barrel per batted ball event, and Montgomery's one of them. And he's with Schwarber, Freddie Freeman, Seiya Suzuki, Pete Alonso, Logan O'Hoppe, Cal Raleigh, Gleyber Torres, Brenton Doyle, Byron Buxton. Funnily enough, Brooks Baldwin also on this list. So that's another guy. Hey, there's some fun people on this team. I really love Brooks. I love Chase. I love Teel. I love Caro. I love Colson. I'm excited for 2026.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp. Rick, do you really love the Lamp? I love Lamp.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp. 60% of the time, it works all of the time.
That doesn't make sense.
Anyways, we're going to wrap up this show, the CHGO White Sox postgame show. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate whoever just hit that like button. If you have been hanging around with us and lurking in the shadows, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We are very, very excited to talk more White Sox. If you need a place to vent about the White Sox, we do have our Die Hard Discord channel where you could jump in there and chat with fellow White Sox fans like yourself and, go through the whims and ups and downs of a White Sox experience. We will see you on Thursday for the finale of the Rays White Sox series as they play a day game. So we'll see you around 3, 4 o'clock on Thursday. Sound good? All right, bye. See you later.
We all silly like the mayor.